Log into gyroscopemeet.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio, internet radio station powered by GMG, LLC.
In the beginning, there was Jack. And Jack had a groove, and after a while, a deep sleep fell upon him, and he went looking for a new groove. He began looking for a new nation, and it had to be a soulful nation. And he found it, and it was Soulful House Nation. And he saw a building. It was a tall building. It had 10 stories, and he entered the building and got on the elevator and pushed the 10th floor, but it stopped on the 8th floor. And that's where he found his new groove. And he began to jack and jack and jack and jack. And he knew that this was it. It was Soulful House Nation on the 8th floor. Get ready, get ready, get ready.
Get ready, ladies and gentlemen. I am DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Ladies and gentlemen, we got another one. This time, you're not gonna believe it. It's true. Well, here's what we're gonna do. Quick recap. Hey, go over our last show. We had DJ Buzz One on there. It was a great show. Shared a lot of stuff. Go back and check that out. Then, just to give you an idea, we're gonna play the hottest song according to Track Source. It's actually Candy Staten and Kelly G. As a matter of fact, Louis Vega played it yesterday, so it's number one. Then we're gonna talk about some stuff that's coming up next week. We're gonna play a classic song. We'll do the news, and then the moment we've all been waiting for is in a few minutes, and that's our special guest, Jihad Muhammad. And we go, yeah! Now, so what we're going to do, we're going to start out, we're going to play the number one song according to Track Source. We're going to play a little snippet, and of course, as you know, Facebook has a nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out, so we're going to only play it for a little bit. Just also want to give a big shout out to Chuck Roberts, who did our intro. and then also King T Finesse and Ariel Shante, who did our theme song. So, Chuck, you want to start it out? Play a little bit? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to fade it out because Facebook's this nasty, nasty little habit of shutting us down and muting us out. Hey, again, just want to thank Ariel Shante, Chuck Roberts, King T Finesse for our theme song and our opening salvo. Also, too, you can find us in multiple places. Facebook is one of the places, but certainly we're on Facebook, we're on Vimeo, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on X, and we're on the website. So just want to thank you folks. I mean, the least of it is here, like on Facebook, but we're getting thousands of views every week, locally and internationally. So thank you very much for the continued support. So listen, here's a quick update, just a few little things that are happening. I'm going to let Jihad tell you about the things that are going on in his world, so I won't bring up those dates, but just one of the dates I just want you to keep in mind that are coming up this month on April 27th. You're going to have the Montclair African American venue is going to be doing something, and Eddie Nicholas is going to be the curator, and I'm going to say MC, host, and all around whatever he's needed to do. I will be there, and it's going to be like a film thing, and I know they're going to do some documentaries and some trailers and things that we've been working on in the community, but certainly also in the house community. And Jamara Wakefield, who has been the person on Black House, Black Joy, is going to do a preview there. So if you haven't gotten your tickets already, do that. Now, we're gonna save what Jihad has coming up for a little bit later when we have our conversation with him. Just a couple of tracks that you should know. So we've been doing this series called Heroes of House. And what we've been doing is we've been playing people in the house music community who've been putting out tracks and putting around tracks right along. You may or may not realize it. And last week we did this whole segment dedicated to ladies. We call it Sheroes. And we had tracks by Miss Roar. Got it right that time. Miss Yaz Roar, Cynthia Tucker, Vanessa L. Smith, better known as Smitty, Crystal Lavelle, and Anaya Weathers. So we did all that stuff. So it was really, really good. And I got to tell you, they got a lot of music that you're probably not up on. And they made a lot of good stuff. And then, this week what I'm going to do, I'm going to play some music from them, some new music. Anaya Weathers has Down For You. Miss Yaz Roar has No Standing on a Dance Floor. Crystal Lavelle, Dying to Be Born Again. And Smitty, I'm going to play a track from her album called Infatuated when we do the Shazam Free Zone. So we got a lot of stuff happening here. So listen, what I'm going to do, if you want us to announce it, we're happy to announce it. Please send us the information. We do it. Now, just so you know, we do it a month at a time. So we're not doing next August or something like that. We're doing a month at a time. So right now in April, so we're covering April stuff. At the end of April, we'll start covering the May, but just so you know how it works. So listen, let's do this. Let's play this song, the number 2 song that this song. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why I picked this song here. It might joggle our guest mind, but the other thing it's gonna do is to show you how long he's been out there, and this is not even farther back. I can go back further. So, Chuck, play this song, and it'll probably bring back some memories here. So, this is called Black Master. Heaven Stars. I had to dig for this one. This is Jihad Muhammad. This is going back to 2001, I think. Shutting us down, reading us out, and you will see if you go and try to listen to the music I played last. I played myself from last week, but also too yesterday when I was doing the live with from Baltimore. So listen, our special guest is here, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody, fall back for a minute. We have our special guest, Jihad Muhammad, who's always very, very humble, and I kind of say this because, you know, he doesn't have to say it. I could say it, and he was very humble. But what we're going to do, we're going to have a conversation with him, and I think you're going to really, really appreciate this conversation. You know, number one, to find out a lot about, you know, what he's done, what he's doing, his background, that kind of stuff for those of you who haven't heard. But also, too, what he's going to do and he's willing to do is to take you behind the scenes. And I think that's going to be very, very powerful for those people who especially who aspire to go to this level. I like to say I'm on the 8th floor. Jihad's in the penthouse, ladies and gentlemen. So, Jihad, how are you, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining us. Well, listen, so we can get things started a little bit. Tell us a little bit about you.
What do you want to know about me, Dan, that you already don't know? Let me think.
Okay, how about where you're from, background, and that little bit of stuff like that.
I'm from, the great city of Newark, New Jersey, born and raised, educated here in Newark, New Jersey, of course. My life has been in this city, and this is where my DJing career has started, and I represent Newark, New Jersey, wherever I go.
Okay, all right. Now,
even though some people try to put New York on a flyer sometimes, no, I'm not from New York. I'm from Jersey.
See that? They're trying to listen. I'm gonna tell them straight up. They can't have you. Okay?
Yeah.
Hey. Now, how about this? Now, how about some of your early music and DJ influences?
Well, I think I shared the same musical influences as everybody else, coming up in the era that, we came up in. The radio was very instrumental. And, back then, as far as house music or dance music is concerned, Tony Humphries, Timmy, Merlin, Chet Pettibone, T. Scott, Larry the Band, all those guys played on BLS and Kiss FM back then. Some of our hometown heroes like Hippie Torales and Naeem Johnson, they were on, Hippie was on KTU at one time, and Naeem was on BLS. So, when it came to my DJ influences, those were the guys. As far as my musical influence, my household had everything playing: jazz, R&B, blue-eyed soul, as they call it. So, we listened to everything growing up, you know. And then, of course, you couldn't have a Saturday afternoon without Soul Train and American Bandstand, you know. I don't know if you even remember this show that used to come on Channel 7 back in the day. I think it was called New York Hot Tracks, and the guy from KTU, Carlos De Jesus, was the host.
Okay.
And, he used to play a lot of groundbreaking music that was coming out at that time in the, I would say early to mid 80s, so a lot of that, I mean, hip hop, we're old enough to have seen hip hop born, so, I did used to play a lot of hip hop. Tony Humphries was one of the DJs that I really used to hear, like, blend hip hop with dance music. He used to do that. And so that kind of, I say, hey, man, if Tony can kind of do it, then, and he made it work, then hey, why not? Why not?
Right.
And this was before Hip House came
Got
out,
you. Okay.
But, also on the, like, rap tip, we used to listen to Chuck Chill Out, Red Alert. They all had shows before Tony came on. And then you had Marley Marl and Mr. Magic on BLS.
Oh yeah.
So I listened to everything. Everything. There was no limit when it came to my musical, influences.
Well, what's very interesting is that all the great DJs, and I'm saying to a person, have hip hop and R&B in their backgrounds that play house, and then you said it. I mean, I'm gonna push it back for a minute. Do you remember this? WNJR, the Black Rock of the Great East Coast. Do you remember that? That was on
I remember
WNJR.
NJR.
WNJR, yeah.
AM station.
Yeah.
Which was actually located in Hillside, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. When I was in school, we would get it. It's like it sounded, because it was so close. It would sound like it was FM. So. But but a lot of music.
Where were you in school at?
Seton Hall. Yeah.
Well, you had WSOU up there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A friend of mine said he used to DJ there. His name was Bob Sumner.
Bob Sumner. Okay. Of course, I know Bob Sumner.
And the crazy thing is, when I grew up, I lived literally 3 blocks away from Seton Hall.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Small world.
Small world. Yep.
Wow. George Aiken, what's up? Mel Cherry's in the house. Marcus Garrett, thanks for stopping by. Okay. All right. So now, so share. This is like good stuff here. But this is gonna be really get good, ladies and gentlemen. Now, okay. Now, how about this? Now, how did you get into house, and who were some of your favorite artists from back in the day, or some of the people that you like now? Yeah.
Well, as I said earlier, like, dance music morphed into house music.
Right.
So I just went with the natural progression of things. Like I said, like Timmy and Tony and those guys were, people who I listened to a lot. So, just listening to them and enjoying what they were doing, I wanted to do the same thing. So as the music went from dance to house, I just followed through with it. It was just, like a natural progression, and I wanted to follow the people that I enjoyed on the radio. being a little younger at the time, I didn't get a chance to go to Zanzibar in the 70s until like maybe like the late 80s,
Mm,
when I started going to Zanzibar. So,
mm,
me hearing Tony on the radio,
mm-hmm.
then being able to go to the club and then to be able to see Tony,
Okay.
that was the move.
Uh-huh.
But, there were also other DJs, and I have to shout out like guys like Lionel Burton that
Mm,
played at Club 88,
okay.
um, Mark Thompson that played at Club
Mm,
Sensations.
mm-hmm.
Those guys are like, when you think about the house music scene in Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
those guys were holding it down for
Okay.
real,
Mm-hmm.
and they rarely get mentioned,
Mm,
but
right.
Mark Thompson was a beast.
Right.
Lionel Burton was a beast,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and
Mm-hmm.
so when I was in college, we should just come home and we would go to 88 because they would have, the Thanksgiving and Christmas nights. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Lionel Burton was the man, like I said, Mark Thompson, if you didn't want to go to 88. Well,
Mm-hmm.
you could actually go to 88 on a Thursday
Mm-hmm.
and then go to Sensations on Friday
Mm-hmm.
and then go to Zanzibar Saturday, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to see everybody I wanted to see before I went back to school.
Mm-hmm. DJ One Spin, how you doing, sir? All right. Now, okay, you kind of said it, but I just want you to like clearly say it in this way here. So, like so many other people listen to music, so other many
Hmm.
people dance to music, so many people just whatever with music. What made you decide, hey, listen, I'm gonna DJ compared to because that's a whole nother journey. In addition to maybe dancing and or singing to it or whatever. What
Hmm.
was the what caused you to do that? But then to stick with it.
Well, what made me want to be a DJ was the way Tony Humphrey blended records together.
Oh, got you. Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that in itself was an art.
Mm.
And um, I wanted to be like that, you
Mm.
know. I wanted to do what he was doing. And
Mm.
of course, I didn't have the equipment to do it. So either you had to go to somebody's house to do it, you know. But, I practiced on some things,
Oh yeah.
Everybody had like a little toy turntable thing, where you try to, you know, mix it with the song that's playing on the radio to see if you can get it on beat or whatever. But no, definitely
Yeah.
Tony was the guy that
Yeah.
I wanted to emulate.
Mm.
He was the one who pulled me into wanting to become a
Mm.
DJ.
Mm.
And I think you said something about and sticking to it, right?
Right.
After all these years, it's just something that I love to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
um, back then I wasn't trying to be famous. I wasn't
Mm.
trying to be, like, oh, I want to get paid off of this right now.
Mm-hmm.
No, it was something that I enjoyed doing. Some
Mm.
people enjoy playing basketball or
Mm-hmm.
playing soccer or,
Mm-hmm.
whatever they enjoy doing.
Right.
That's what I enjoyed doing. I enjoyed the art of DJing,
Mm.
you
Okay.
know.
Wow. Okay. Now I always ask this question. I want to ask you: where is house music headed?
I
It's
don't
kind of a
know.
loaded question, but you know.
Oh, well, let's be a little bit more specific with that question.
Okay. All right. So you've been in it from the door, whether they called it house music, it was dance music, club music, and then it came to the name of house music. So you've watched the progression. You've been in it from the door. Matter of fact, I have music that goes way back that a lot of people don't know about. We'll talk about that later.
Hmm.
So just wondering, do you see it growing? Do you see it branching off? Do you see it dying off? Do you see younger? I mean, what are your thoughts on all that kind of stuff?
I don't see it dying off.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I see it as a continuation from where I started when I first started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, it's a bit different now than it was because of, the day and age that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
But um, if I if I talk about just house music in Jersey,
Mm.
look at where we were 20, 30 years ago and look at where we're at now.
Mm.
You know, there have been some things that have, declined, and then
Mm-hmm.
there have been some things that have exploded. Outdoor events have exploded in Jersey,
Right. Mm-hmm.
um, where maybe club attendance has declined because there are less clubs to go to now. I don't even know if we even have a club in Jersey now as we did back, before. But that doesn't mean that it's dying.
Right.
It just means that things are changing and we have to, you know, in order for this thing to survive, we have to learn how to adapt to the changing times.
Right.
And I think that house music in whole is adapting to the changes. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, we are getting more younger people, coming out to the events, along with, some of the older folks that have been always coming out to the events, and you were at a party yesterday in
Yes.
Baltimore, and look
Yes.
how packed that was. You know what I
Yes.
mean? So
Whew.
for anybody to say that house is dying, all they have to do is follow Dan Dan around, and you go to Baltimore with Dan Dan, and it's like, hey, look, man, this party was off the hook. We just had a party here
Yeah.
in New Jersey with beloved and Osunade.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yes.
have a party coming up Friday with myself and Louis and Anane. And
Mm-hmm.
then the next night, you have Tamir, Naeem, and Dion Cole.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no dying of the scene.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's alive, and we'll be going into the summer months, which means the outdoor events will start popping up.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, as long as we as a community um, can adapt to change, um, I think we'll be okay. I mean, I do hear a lot of people, kind of referring back to back in the day, back in the day, back in the day, and that's cool. But I feel like sometimes if you're too stuck back in the day, you won't be able to see what's ahead of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 You can't drive, as they say, look in the rear view mirror. Yeah. Yeah.
Right, right.
Okay. So I'm gonna skip around a little bit because I really ultimately I want to take people behind the scenes, but not just yet.
Okay.
Let's So, folks, if you're out there, hang in there. We're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to talk about what it really, really takes to be Jihad Muhammad. We're going to talk about the work, but don't worry, I got you. Okay, so so listen. So Jihad, tell us some of the places that you've played, and is there
Oh
any
man,
place on your bucket list?
is there a place on my bucket list? I have to think about that one. I have to think about that. But the places I've played: Greece, Russia, Japan, the UK, Spain, uh, New York City, of course, New Jersey, DC, Baltimore, PA, California, Arizona,
Okay.
Boston, Rhode Island. I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I've been blessed to, have traveled a bit.
Okay.
Jamaica, Croatia. I can't forget Croatia. Um, yeah, I've been around. I've been around. Now, my bucket list. Wow.
Okay.
Um, I have to kind of think about what's going on in the current scene. Well, maybe Ibiza might be a bucket list. I
Okay.
haven't played in Ibiza yet,
Okay.
so that might be a bucket list spot.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, South Africa. I've done that.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just trying to remember the ones off the top of my head. But I think Ibiza would be one of the places that would be like a bucket list type of spot.
Okay. Now, here's my next question. Well, let me ask you this before I go to the next question. When you first went to countries, especially like in Europe, where a
Hmm.
lot of people there don't necessarily look like us, I'm saying black or brown, were you surprised or you expected that you would see these people who are not like that are into this and they're just as soulful as, or did you have the Justin music and play EDM? I'm making that part up, but you know what I mean.
Uh,
Did you find that they were just as soulful there?
Guess what, Dan?
Uh huh.
I expected Japanese people when I went to Japan, right?
Okay. Uh huh.
And I expected Greek people when I went to Greece,
Got you.
right? So going there, and I think that's the question that a lot of people ask. I hear questions like, they like house music in Arizona? Like, yeah, they like
Yeah.
house music in Arizona. They like
Okay.
house music in Japan? Oh, yeah, they love it there.
Mm-hmm.
They Japan loves soulful house.
Mm.
Greece loves soulful house. They love Afro house.
Mm.
Um, Let me see. Italy
Mm-hmm.
loves soulful house.
Mm.
The UK, you
Mm.
could go either way, Afro, soulful.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, maybe like the very first time I may have went to Italy, might have been like in '95,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that may have been something that I might have been like, okay, wow, like these Italians really like house music, huh? You know, but they really love house music.
Mm.
It's like for them going out is a culture within itself,
Mm.
you
Okay.
know. In Japan when I went, and I was going to Japan from maybe like 2001 up until like 2012 or 13
Mm-hmm.
every year. Um, they love house music. I mean, and they're one of the places that, you can go to that still has record stores,
Mm.
that you can
Okay.
actually go and buy vinyl. The UK is like that, Amsterdam is like that,
Mm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess after you travel enough, you kind of understand that, you're going over there to do a job that they actually picked you to do because they know
Mm.
what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, this is Jihad Muhammad,
Mm-hmm.
and he's been producing songs that we like,
Mm-hmm.
and we know that he's a house music guy, so we're gonna get him to come over here and play. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, they may book you just for the fact that you're a producer,
Mm-hmm.
because sometimes producers get booked and the DJs don't. I'm a DJ first, producer second.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always wanted to express that in the music that I make as well too. I'm not just like the guy sitting behind the computer, mixing and stuff. I'm actually a DJ,
Right.
you know. But we'll get back to that when you get back to the uh, behind the scenes and what does it take to be a Jihad Muhammad
Now I want
portion of
to.
the show.
I want them to hang in there for a little bit. I'm just going to
Yeah,
set the
yeah,
stage first, give them the glory
yeah.
first, then we'll give them the guts. How about that?
All right. Good, good, good.
Yeah, so yeah, okay. So what's the same? What's different? Say versus like a say American crowd, say New York, New Jersey, whatever,
Hmm.
versus a European or Asian crowd. What's the same? What's different?
On the surface, it's pretty much all the same.
Okay.
You go to a party to
Mm-hmm.
play for people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of crowd participation, I think that when we travel, and I say we as like traveling DJs, when we go overseas to play, um, there's a bit more crowd participation, meaning there's a bit more people who come to see you play. They come to dance. They come to hear your art, as opposed to, and I hate to say this, but as opposed to like Jersey, where you get to the club and people got to sit down and warm up a little bit before they get up and dance, and you know, it's like they got to wait till that one song they like comes on, or maybe they got to wait till like 10 people they know are dancing, and then they get up and they start dancing. The culture overseas, it's like we come out, we come to dance, and that's what we do. We dance, we drink, we dance again and drink some more, and we have a good time, and we come home. And then too, also, a lot of American DJs that get booked overseas are getting booked because they are known by the people that they're getting booked by. So if I have a party in the UK, or if I have a party in Greece, and I say that this person is coming, the people who come to that party know who those DJs are. So there is a difference in that aspect, because you may get somebody like, I don't want to keep using him as an example, but Osunlade, who came last week. There are some people who know him, but then the majority of the house music community at large, the ones that come out to the festivals, they don't know who that guy is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, somebody saying I'm a house head, it's like, okay, so if you're a house head, I'm gonna give you this house head test, right? And
the house head test. All right now.
On a house head exam, right?
I love it.
List like 10 things that I'm gonna ask you, and if you truly a house head, you should be able to answer these questions no problem, right? And I think the majority of them would be like D and Fs, because just being a house head, it's a global scene.
Right.
I'm not saying that you have to know everybody,
right,
but I think you should know some of the tastemakers in the game. And I'm not talking about just the ones out of New York City. It's easier to know Joe and Timmy and Louie, and Danny Crivet, because they're in New York and they do parties in New York all the time. But when we start getting out of this metropolitan area, you got guys like you were with him yesterday, DJ Biscuit.
Yep, Biscuit, right.
I think people know Tommy Davis by his antics now.
Yes, yes.
So you got DJ Spin.
Yes.
Teddy Douglas. And these are just Baltimore.
He was there yesterday too.
Right. These are just Baltimore guys. Now you go to Atlanta, you got Salah Naseh, Kemet, Ramon Rosso, Kai Alce, Stan Zeff, Then you go to Chicago, and everybody knows the Chosen Few.
Right.
But what about Glenn Underground?
Right.
What about Steve Maxwell? What about Anthony Nicholson? Then you go to California, you got Marcus Wyatt, and you got Patrick Wilson and Nina Soul and Kofflo and all these other people. So, if you're a house head and you love this thing, you have to, kind of like start finding these other people that are instrumental in keeping the scene going as well too.
Well, I like that. I'm gonna make a note of that, the house head test.
House head exam. And put it on a T-shirt.
So the house head test. Can you pass the house head test?
They can say, "Oh, well,
that's right.
You got to answer this question right here."
Right, that's right. This is question number 3 on the house head test.
Yeah.
By the way, Jihad Muhammad put it together.
That's right.
So
now we got to think about, if they fail, what happens? Do they go to like video school, or
That's right. Gotta get a ruler or something and smack him across the hands or something. No,
Yeah,
wrong
yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Wow. Now, is and playing in other countries, is it important to produce to go beyond your local place? How important is that? It doesn't matter, or where would you say that falls in line with things? And if so,
Meaning
why?
produce records.
Yeah, produce music. I mean, is that like an essential part if you want to travel to do that kind of thing?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. I think yeah, that's one of the ways the game has changed. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, I think back on like guys like the early pioneers like Larry Levan.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he put out records, but he was mostly known for the garage. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
and he traveled
Mm-hmm.
as a DJ.
Right.
Fast forward to me trying to figure out how what I had to do to travel,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I was told that I need to produce records
Mm-hmm.
in order to move forward in my DJing career.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I didn't understand how the two work together. But
Mm-hmm.
now, in retrospect, I'm like, wow, yeah, the more songs I put out, the more likable songs I put out,
Mm-hmm.
the more calls I started getting
Mm-hmm.
later on. So I do believe that in this day and time, yeah, um, as dope of a DJ as you can be,
Mm-hmm.
I think that you need to have something else behind that.
Mm. Folks, folks, that's very, very important. And we didn't even get into the juicy part yet, but don't worry, we're getting there. We're inching our way up there. What's up, DJ Dell? Good seeing you yesterday. Wally B, tell it like a TI is. How you doing, sir? I see, yeah, these people come out. All right. Okay, now let's talk about some of the, like the technology. Now, you
Hmm.
watch this go from, I guess, singing to like, what do they call those things? Like a Victrola? Well, maybe not that far back, but from records to CDs
Hmm.
to laptops to flash drives, and some people are
Hmm.
actually streaming now. Now, first
Right.
of all, did you go kicking and screaming to each level, or did you just readily adapt it? Readily adopt it, and or what's your take on the technology and what you're seeing?
I progressed with every change that came about,
Okay.
and I didn't complain about it.
Okay.
I
Mm-hmm.
felt like, you know, I mean, if you think about it, music has progressed
Mm-hmm.
throughout the times, right?
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
know, it was in mono at one time, and
Hmm.
then in the 70s, it was in stereo. And,
Right.
you know, you know, back in the day, everybody had reel to reels in their houses because that was kind of like the chic thing to have. And then
Mm-hmm.
they had, you know, tape decks
Yeah.
and turntables and, you know, this hi-fi system. And, you know, so everything changes. And so as a working DJ, and I will say that this is a very important point. As a working DJ,
Mm-hmm.
you have to be adaptable,
Mm.
you know. Um, Now, that's not to say that you can't still play on turntables in 2024. Of course, you can do that. You know,
Right.
there are plenty of people doing that now. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure they also know that you know times have changed from what did you say, tape decks to
Yeah.
CD players
Yeah.
to you know CDs, and then you know now with flash drives, and now like you said, you can even stream your music now.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I use it all, man. I went and I spent a lot of money
Mm.
changing with the times. You know,
Right.
And each CDJ that came out, that was the next one was supposed to be better. And
Uh-huh.
okay, you jumped on that, and
Mm-hmm.
now the next one, 6 years later, they got another one out, and you're like, yeah, I got to jump on that. And
Uh-huh.
even now, like the big debate was between this new mixer that
Oh
Pioneer put
yeah, yeah,
out,
yeah.
Euphonia,
Your
right?
phone. Mm-hmm.
And oh man, and Pioneer with they BS again, and
Mm-hmm.
they're putting out stuff, and I'm like, yo, man, it's just the way that the game is that's the way that it is.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
either use it or you don't,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get mad at somebody who wants to use it,
Mm-hmm.
because most working DJs, we have to use newer technology that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I got a rider from a very well-known DJ who requested 4 CDJs in a V10, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I feel like if I take my craft that seriously,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have 4 CDJs in a V10 for him,
Got you. 30.
but not necessarily just for him, but for
Right.
myself,
No, I got you. Mm-hmm.
because I'm a working DJ.
Right.
So,
Right. I
you
think you
know,
just bought one, right?
yeah, I just bought one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we have to just progress with the times, man. And that's
Mm-hmm.
just the way that this
Mm-hmm.
game is. And, soon, hey, you never know. Like, what if it just all boils down to just streaming music at some point?
Mm-hmm.
What are you gonna do? Get mad about it? Oh, I ain't streaming no damn music. No, you're gonna stream it because you're gonna have parties to do and you're gonna need the music, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I say to people who don't want to adapt, I agree. They really have a right to do whatever they want to do, but I also ask the
Mhm.
same question: Do you want to drive a horse or a car? Um,
Right.
hey, how about this? Maybe you, instead of using your cell phone, you want to go to the phone booth and have a pocket full of quarters. And
Right.
I mean, so I really see it. But I got to tell you though, and now with me though coming along, I gotta be
Mhm.
honest. There was some kicking and screaming going along, but but I mean, for example, when CDs come out, I had some CDs, but I didn't. I kind of like didn't want to let them go. But let me tell you
Mm.
something. After stopped carrying those records, forget about it.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
again to
Yeah.
be seen again. Maybe if we had like a special thing, but I stopped buying records years ago.
Mhm.
CDs, never again. When I just
Mm.
figure, you can have a laptop or a flash drive, and you can have thousands of songs instead of hundreds of songs, and you can go.
Right.
Anyway, so I really, really, really relate. But again, I got to tell you, and some of these things I came along kicking and screaming. I'm just, that's on my
Well,
side
I'm gonna
here.
tell you something,
Mm-hmm.
and this is no diss to the purists,
Mm-hmm.
because I understand that being a purist is an art form.
Mm-hmm.
It's all art. Art, there's no limitations in art,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But I will say that as a traveling job, right?
Okay, now.
As a traveling job, and
Uh-huh.
I'm sure not only have I experienced this, but I'm sure that there are other DJs that experience this as well.
Mm-hmm.
Around the time Serato came out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it was like one of the best things ever at
Mm-hmm.
some point, because when you're traveling and you have like 3 boxes of records,
Mm.
and you get to the airport that you're flying to, and your boxes of records are open or they're missing, you know,
Mm.
um, that's a hurtful feeling to get
Mm-hmm.
there to see your records splattered out on a airport floor, or your record box has been they popped the lock just to see what was in it.
Mm.
So having a computer with Serato and having your music on a hard drive,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was kind of like, man, this is a lifesaver.
Mm.
So now, you know, we could just travel with a hard drive and have like your whole collection and maybe like a 2 or 3 terabyte hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And all you have to do is stick it in the USB port of a CDJ, and you
Mm-hmm.
can have instant access to all your music.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best thing ever, you
Mm-hmm.
know.
Right. 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 Well,
So
yeah.
I wasn't kicking and screaming.
Well, I'm not now, but I was
Yeah.
back in the beginning. I was in the beginning. Wow. Okay. Folks, we still got the good part coming. You know how I always said the best part for last? Hang in there. Okay. Okay. Let's talk about producing. Now, how did you get into producing? Some tracks you made, influences, and any people you've worked with, anybody you want to work with?
Okay. I got into producing because Kevin Hedge from Blaze told me I had to
Okay.
produce.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one that told me in order to take the DJ career further, I had to start producing. And that took a little while because I went out and bought my equipment, my MPC and
Mm-hmm.
my little keyboard, and I didn't know what to do on it. And he showed me what to do,
Uh-huh.
and I still didn't know what to do. It wasn't something that I was interested in at the time.
Uh-huh.
Um, but I think after some time, I would say maybe almost like a year or so,
Mm.
or maybe more after I got my equipment,
Mm-hmm.
um, I had some ideas that I wanted to express. So
Mm-hmm.
another Jersey legend by the name of Nick Jones,
Mm-hmm.
um, they don't mention Nick Jones a lot either, but Nick Jones had a studio in his basement. He lived in Plainfield. So I had some ideas, and he said, "Yo, come on over to the studio and, lay some stuff down." So
Mm-hmm.
luckily for him,
Mm-hmm.
he had musicians that he worked with.
Mm,
So I was
okay.
able to kind of like get with them and kind of make the music sound a bit more polished as opposed to, me not knowing any musicians at all. And it sounded like Atari music or something. So um, I'm trying to think what the first record I did was over there. It may have been New Jersey Groove or something like that. And afterwards, I did uh, Movement Blues,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of like the song that kind of put me out there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was signed by West End Records.
Yep. I saw it.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Kevin Hedge, he was running West End Records at the time. So he took that record, put it out, and that kind of put me on the map.
Mm-hmm.
But my guys that I tried to model my sound after at the time were Blaze,
Mm-hmm.
Louis Vega.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, there was a guy from Chicago named Kenny Carvajal, Frank Roger from Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was, but my main influence was Blaze. You
Okay.
know,
Mm-hmm.
they were my main influence.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was told that if I want to do a record, listen to the records you like, you know?
Mm.
And so I listened to some Blaze records.
Got you.
And as a DJ, you're hearing all kind of music anyway. You're playing
Yes.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to say, oh, yeah, I like this song. I want to do something like this,
Mm-hmm.
And that was the easiest way to go. I still do that to this day. I listen to songs and I'm like, yeah, I like the way that. Yeah, let me drum something up real fast.
Well, so, and we're easing into it. Then we're gonna go hard in a minute. So it didn't come overnight, did it?
It didn't come overnight. No.
Okay,
did
so hold it
not
right
come
there. Hold that
overnight.
thought right there. Okay, hold it
Yeah.
right there, and then we're gonna go hard in like 2 minutes. All right.
Okay.
So all of a sudden, like you got this idea. Now, and I got to tell you something. Like I have Ableton full version. I have Logic, of course. GarageBand came with it. I have Native Instruments. And to be honest with you, I've never, ever, ever, ever learned how to make anything. Now I know how to turn it on,
Mm.
but that's it. But it really, really takes some time to get that thing. Is that right?
Listen,
Mm-hmm.
I started producing music pre YouTube, right?
Got you. Uh-oh.
So when I first, well, like I said, I had the MPC. I didn't know what the hell I was doing on it.
Okay.
Then it was the software
Mm-hmm.
that came into play. So then it was Logic,
Mm-hmm.
and I started using Logic. Logic was owned by a company called eMagic before Apple brought it,
Mm-hmm.
and the manual was this thick. And I knew people that were producing already.
Uh-huh.
I used to be like, "Can you show me how to do X, Y, Z?" And they were like, "You got to read the book." And I'm like, "I'm not reading that damn book. That book is too damn thick. If you show me, then
Uh-huh.
I'll know what to do."
Right.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean,
Wow.
now anybody, even you, Dan, like I've had machines
Mm.
for a long time,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
even when I was producing after some years.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know what the hell I was doing in machine. You know,
Mm.
it took me a
Mm.
little while to kind of get the gist of it because producing in machine and producing in Logic were two different ways of producing.
Mm-hmm.
Producing in Ableton was different than producing in Logic. So I pretty much stuck to what I knew
Mm-hmm.
until I had time to learn, you
Mm-hmm.
know, machine in Ableton.
Name some of the tracks you've made, some of the people you've worked with, anybody you want to work with that you haven't worked with.
Okay, well, I've worked with Louis.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
I've done numerous things for DJ Spin in Baltimore. You know, that's my boy.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with Stan Zeff.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I've worked with a few labels in the UK. Actually, a lot of my music in the beginning came out primarily overseas. They didn't
Interesting.
come out over here. So
Wow.
I've worked with a lot of labels in the UK, Making Moves,
Mm.
Groove Odyssey.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Um, who else? I mean, it's a lot. You
Mm-hmm.
know, Frankie Feliciano, Kenny Bolian,
Mm.
Beloved, of course, Mark
Mm-hmm.
Francis, of course,
Mm-hmm.
Conway. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I mean, a lot of. I've worked with a lot of artists, Stephanie Cook.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I've been more of a remixer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning of my career, I was doing, my own original stuff and shopping it to labels.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I decided to do my own thing, I started putting stuff out on my own label, but then I kind of got bogged down with doing remixes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Gotcha.
it's like, wow, yeah, I mean, numerous artists, man. I can't even remember half of them right
Yeah.
now, but
All right.
the ones that come to mind, Kenny, of course,
Mm-hmm.
Blaze, Josh Milan.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is there anybody that I would like to work with? Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few people I'd like to work with. There's a person in the UK whose style I admire, Sean McCabe.
Oh,
He
sure.
did a
Uh-huh.
he did a remix for me and Tasha LaRae out of Atlanta.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of UK based producers that I would like to work with, like Wes Went, and actually I did a remix for a girl she's from Toronto, or she's from Toronto, I believe, but she lives in the UK, and that's Miss Fly. We
Matter of
just
fact,
did a
it's out now.
Yeah, that's out now, and there's a young lady in Boston, Susan Estera.
Mm-hmm.
She's like up and
Yes.
coming.
Yes.
So I mean, yeah, there's been a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people I've worked with.
By the way, we had Miss Fly in the mix today, just so you know.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and I
Okay.
see you got voices too. So you got that one here. You did with Spen. So yeah, so you better.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that a while ago. Yeah.
Okay. We're going to save sound reinforcement for later. Let's talk about what it takes to be Jihad Muhammad. A lot of people think it's been a straight line to get where you want to go. I like to say, as we said before, they want the baby, but they don't want the labor pains. Let's talk about the labor pains. Let's talk about your march to the top. Now, you don't have to say it, but I'm saying it.
March to the top. Well, like everybody else, I'm gonna tell you, I don't think my march to the top is any different than anybody else's march to where they are. It started out as a DJ in my brother's garage.
Okay.
It started off as a young man in high school, with no equipment in the beginning, going to people's houses and playing, and then, having an uncle take me to Radio Shack to get a mixer,
Right now.
and,
Okay.
what use is a mixer with no turntables, right? So I had to get turntables, and I got mismatched turntables, and hey, it worked. You know what I mean?
Amen.
It worked. Yeah. So,
Right.
from there, you just play music because you love playing it. You make tapes, and you make either your 60-minute, your 90-minute, or your 120-minute tape, and you give those tapes out, and you give some out, and you sell some, and a lot of them I gave out, and a lot of them I sold. Even when I was working in my former career, I used to just have a box of tapes in the car. People, yeah, you want tape? Yep. All right. Sell your tape for $10. You good? You go re-up in New York again, get 10 more tapes. I used to take my tapes to Shelter and give them out.
Okay.
Because I wanted to give them out to in the club, you always, no matter what club you go to, you always have key people in the club that you want to give your music to because, they're like, the elite.
Right. Like
part of
you.
the crowd.
I got you.
I give my tape to this person, they gonna blow me up, if it's good. So I used to do that. When I was hanging with DJ Camacho, another legend in Jersey, as well as Naeem, I used to be the chauffeur. Put your crates in the trunk, I'll take you to the club,
Not Jihad.
Yeah. How many crates you got? You got 10 crates you taking to the club? God damn, I gotta put in the trunk and the backseat, But I did that because I wanted to get in the club for free.
Okay.
Whatever it took, I'm going to do it. So that's what it took to become who you called Jihad at the top, right? It took a lot of hard work, dedication, sacrifice. It took a lot of driving people around. It took a lot of rejection because there was also rejection within that.
Wait. Let's stop for a minute. You mean people rejected you too?
Yeah, of course.
Talk to us.
Course.
Talk to us about.
They say rejection is a part of your path to, get to where you want to be at, right? So, I've done gigs with Naeem when we used to play at Mirage, and Naeem would, hey man, I'm gonna take my smoke break. Go ahead and play a few. I'd be playing, and people will literally be like, Naeem, when you getting back on? And I'm like, okay, all right,
No.
I've done places.
Wait a minute.
I've done.
Wait. But let me just share that with you, folks. Not Jihad. Don't tell me this has happened to you, and people weren't checking for you, They can't believe they weren't checking for Jihad at one point. Go ahead now.
Yeah, people. There was a time when people wasn't checking for Jihad, you know, because they only knew what they knew, you know, and I don't blame them for that, you know.
Gotcha.
But as a up and coming DJ, yeah, it happens. You know, I've done parties where nobody showed up.
Mm.
You know, and had to spend some money, you know, to rent the place out, and nobody came. You know, it happens. That's all a part of success. You know, it's not like, you know, I don't know what, you know. I hope people don't think that, you know, you do a party and it's supposed to be off the hook your first one. You know, nah, you might fail the first couple of ones, and you have to restructure. You have to rethink about like what do you have to do? Like literally, when nobody came to my parties, I had to ask myself, what do I need to do next? Oh, maybe I need to go to Kinko's and get some flyers made, or maybe I need to make my flyer look better, or you know, how do I get myself out there to where the general public can at least, you know, kind of check me out? So the best thing to do was make tapes at the time.
Okay.
That was my audition.
Okay, so let me just again, just for a minute. I'm only stopping you because I think you're making some really, really powerful points here. Okay, but here's the question: why didn't you quit? Why didn't you fall back to your bedroom? Why didn't you say, "Well, this is not for me," or either these people, there's something wrong with them? Why didn't you go there instead of you saying, "Okay, what's my next move?" Why? I mean, what? Why didn't you like or throw in the towel? I mean,
Well, because one, I love DJing,
okay, gotcha.
and two, even with my failures, I still had people who backed me, who were my friends, and who told me, "Hey, man, nah, just keep pushing. You know, it's gonna work out." And some of those friends, like Naeem, some of those friends like Camacho, they, you know, would at least let me play a few minutes, you know, of a set that they were doing. You know, once you do that, but once they did that, it was like, yo, who's this dude? He's kind of nice, you know. And then, you know, you just keep pushing on. You know, giving up wasn't a part of what I was, you know, going to do. You know, it was like, yo, I'm gonna just keep pushing because this is what I love doing. I love going out. I love dancing. Well, at the time, I loved dancing. I loved DJing. You know, the nightlife was what I loved to do. You know, and I just had that much of an interest in being a DJ. And you know, after listening to, you know, all the pioneers that I got a chance to listen to, you know, it just inspired me even more. So yeah, giving up was not an option.
How about the physical wear and tear on your body? Did you ever go to bed late and have to get up early?
Oh, of course. Well, the good thing was that I worked the job that I went in at 2 o'clock
Okay.
and got out at 10 p.m.
Okay.
So 11:30, it was on and popping.
Okay.
You know, as long as I had time to go home, shower, get dressed, and go out, I'm good. If the party ended at 4, I got home at 5. I didn't have to be up till about 11, 12. That's enough hours for me to, you know, get it together and go back to work. And that was a repetitive schedule. That was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I might have had shitty days off back then. I might have had like Wednesday and Thursday off, you know, like those were like whack days off. But, you know, as long as I worked from 2 to 10. Now, when I went to work from 6 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, all right, I'm going to Cielo. I'm going to be there at 11 p.m. I'll leave around 3, get home, get about an hour and a half sleep, get up, by 5, you got to be at work at 6. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, you know what, Dan? The bottom line is when you love this thing, you ain't even thinking about it. You just
Got you.
doing it.
Got
You
you.
just living that. It's like it's it's such a culture to just live it. You know, it's like it becomes a ritual. It becomes a part of like who you are. Your body's not getting tired from it because your body's used to it. You know, it's like going to the gym and lifting weights every day. Your body just gets used to it. It might pain you in the beginning, but after a while, you're like, man, I could do this. I'm rocking out. And that's with me being single and me being married at the time, you know?
Wow.
And then having girlfriends in between. I lost a lot of relationships because of it, but you know,
Okay.
it happens, you know?
Yeah, that was part of the price. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so like, how about some lessons along the way, and then also too, in back of that, if somebody's coming behind you, what advice would you give? So, what lessons and what would you let's say you got Billy Bob trying to come up,
hmm
and sometimes Billy Bob's going to get discouraged because this didn't work out, that didn't work out. Maybe he
hmm
had a party that bombed. Hey, I can relate to that. Matter of fact, I can
Yeah.
show up both hands.
Yeah, me too. I might have to raise my feet too. I got my feet hands up.
So talk to us about lessons learned along the way, and
I'm gonna
and
tell
just
you though, if someone came to me, I would have to ask them, what are they looking for in this? Because different people have different motivations for wanting to be a DJ or to get in the music business. Some people want to do it because they really love doing it. And then other people want to be famous, you know? And I think that the being famous part ain't gonna last long if that's just what you want to do, just be famous. Because on the road to being famous, you're gonna fail at some point. Things are not gonna happen the way you want it to happen. And if you get discouraged by that, then there goes your fame right out the window. But you have to be dedicated to this. I would tell somebody, you know, you're gonna get out of it what you put into it, you know, and the more dedicated you are and the more consistent you are with it, um, even with failures, you just have to start over all over again and just rethink your plan. And that's what I had to do. I had to rethink my plan plenty of times. You
okay,
know, one of the
okay,
things in a book that I read, 48 Laws of Power, is that you
sure.
have to learn how to reinvent yourself,
Robert Greene.
you know? So once you reinvent yourself, you know, and you come up with a strategy and a plan, you never know. It might work out for you. You know, you might fail like 30 times, and then the 31st time, it might just jump off, you know? And then also, too, you got to have people who love you, you
Okay.
know, and that has your back. And that could mean your family and your friends, you know. It's fortunate now that, you know, with all the parties that happen in New Jersey, and let's say if you got like 4 cliques of people that do parties in Jersey, right? Within those cliques, people have friends that DJ.
Right.
So the promoter of each clique might say, I'll put you on tonight. I'll give you the shot. You know, back in the day, it wasn't like that. You know, back in the day, it was like you had to earn it. Now, because you might have a friend that likes doing parties, you know, you might get put on easily. But you know, let's say for instance, years ago, all right, I used to listen to people on the radio all the time, you know, and I remember one particular DJ, I saw him. "Oh man, come up to BLS, man. Yeah, come on up, man. Yeah, I'll put you on."
Uh-huh.
I said, "All right, cool." I
Mm-hmm.
go up there. Nah, I can't do nothing for you, man. I'm sorry, And I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right, no problem.
Wow.
That's cool. So what do I got to do next?"
Mm.
All right, I gotta grab the ear of somebody, you know.
Mm.
That might be 5 or 10 years later,
Mm.
but guess what?
Mm-hmm.
The work that I put in got me on BLS. It got me on Kiss
Mm.
at a time when the radio really mattered,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Right.
but if I would have gave up, I would have just left that rejection at BLS and just would have been like, I'm not doing this no more. It's too much work, And then I would have been mad at the world, right? Oh man, Joker's hating on me, and you know what? I ain't got time for that. I'm better than that guy anyway. I don't know how he got up there. Or I've heard too, and I've heard this from people who, yo man, so don't you got to be gay to be on the radio? I'm like,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what maybe back in the 70s you might have had to do something questionable. I
Mm.
don't know. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Right.
But all of that stuff was coming at me. And if
Mm-hmm.
I would have like took it all in and just believed what people were saying, I would have just gave up,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So yeah, just stay determined. That's all.
Hey, so all right. So you hear this, I hear it. I want to bring it. I want to bring it to the forefront in the conversation.
Mhm.
No offense intended. I use the term usual suspects. That means the
Mhm.
people who have gotten, from my perspective, I mean the people who have, over the years, put themselves in position to be the person at that party, headliner, and people bring them on because number one, hey, let's be honest, it brings credibility to the party. Number one, number
Mhm.
two, and here's probably the most important thing, is they pull. And I use that term meaning that when they come out, people come out.
Mhm.
They're going to deliver a certain quality of performance. You know that despite what they know how to do, they're going to work with that crowd, whoever's in front. So they know all that kind of stuff. Everybody's going to
Right.
sweat. So here's my question. What do you say to the people who say, hey, listen, they don't want to put me on, and, it's the same lineups all the time. Maybe they shuffle the deck a little bit. I mean, as a person who is making it happen, what is your response to that?
First, my response would be, why should they put you on?
Okay, now.
You know,
Uh
like,
huh.
what are you doing
Mm
that warrants them to put you on?
hmm. Mm hmm.
Because it doesn't come that
Mm hmm.
as easy as people would want it to be.
Mm hmm.
You know, I've heard the term usual suspects, or they book the same guys over and over again. And,
Mm hmm.
that's a complaint that isn't just what we hear in Jersey.
Mm hmm.
I see it all the time, even in the festivals in the UK and stuff like that. Like, oh, they put the same guys on all the time,
Mm
you
hmm.
know.
Mm hmm.
But like you said, what have they done
Mm hmm.
to be put on these events multiple times?
Mm hmm.
They put some sort of work in,
Mm hmm.
you know. It isn't just about, okay, I DJ and you my man, so put me down. No, sometimes your man can't get put down either.
Mm hmm.
Sometimes he has to take a back seat. And I think that what some people don't understand too is that, if if you're not putting the work in
Mm hmm.
and people see you putting the work in, they're not going to be willing to just give you that shot.
Mm hmm.
You know what I mean? I want to see my boys work hard. I want to see them not so much struggle, but I want to see that they appreciate the journey that they're on. Because if I just give it to them, then they'll just take it for granted. They'll just think that they're just supposed to have it like that all the time. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, I paid for my own parties. I put my own money up to do my own parties. I put my own money up to put the sound system in. I've driven sound systems from Atlanta back up to Jersey to put in the club. You know, so all of that hard work, you know, is a part of being put on, you know? And like I said, you know, if I'm a part of the usual suspects, I'm glad I am because I think I've worked hard enough to be put in that position.
Okay. You know, this is very good. Let me just give a few shout outs here. Shej, what's up? Sultan, how you doing? You know what? I used to be able to see a flea at 1,000 paces. Now I gotta you gotta make an ugly face to be able to see. You know what I mean? You gotta squint your eyes and everything. Dwayne Bond, what's up? Mark Francis is in the house. Hey Sarah, how you doing? Stephen Craig, what's up? Linda Mendez, Pittsburgh's here.
Hey, Pittsburgh in the house.
Yeah. Saida is in the house. Delmar Brown is here. David Adams is. What's up? Josh Davis, how you doing? Okay. Cool Luke. All right. A lot of people in here. All right. We're getting down to the wire, but I just want to just do a couple other things. You got a whole sound thing going too now, too. Talk to us about your sound company.
Yeah, something I started a couple of years ago. I generally kind of just started it for me because I knew I wanted to do some events, and I wanted to, you know, bring my own stuff out, you know, cut costs, you know, and establish my own sound with my own brand. I wanted, you know, the sound to be a part of the brand as well, you know. So yeah, I purchased some things, and we've been, you know, blessed to kind of provide sound for different festivals, you know, throughout Jersey and stuff. And you know, that's basically it. You know, we do not only the sound, but we set up DJ booths and stuff like that as well. We rent out equipment to, you know, different nightclub promoters that have, you know, high-end guests coming in. You know, we just did something for Mr. East at this past Saturday, me and Beloved, where they had a DJ named Oscar G from Miami.
Okay.
Who's hugely known in the tech scene. And so, you know, we, you know, try to do that sound reinforcement, not only for us, but for other people as well.
You know, I just want to go back to something you said earlier about, you know, I joke, but I don't joke, but my attitude has been regarding people putting you on. My attitude, and I say it humbly and respectfully, like, see, I agree with you. Nobody owes you nobody owes you anything. Now, a lot of the way you get in, certainly the relationships and stuff that's here, but nobody owes you anything, and you shouldn't walk away from it feeling like you deserve this and you deserve that. The other part of it is that my attitude is I make my own yes. In other words, like, if I believe what I'm doing, then I'm the one who has to pursue it. And if somebody else gets on, then that's fine, but it can't be based on someone else accepting me. And that's been my attitude about the whole thing. So I do what I do, you do what you do, and I say, God bless. If our paths can cross, that's a wonderful thing. But for all the people who get upset, as a matter of fact, I had a conversation with a gentleman, a promoter, who will go unnamed. But one of the things he said to me, and I accepted, because I was kind of, you know, going a little back and forth with him, just asking a question. He says, He said, my business is not to put people on. My business is to deliver the best show that I can do. And I've always said, when people put their time, their energy, their money, it's their call about what they think and their judgment about how they believe they can put their best show together. And again, I say, if you are not happy with that, that's fine. But at the same time, nobody's stopping you as an individual to go out and do what you do. And
Right.
if you can't do it, whatever your reason is, then fine, you just can't do it. But that does not mean that now somebody else owes you a shot. So that's always been my attitude. And if you talk to anybody in front of the scenes or behind the scenes, they'll tell you the same thing. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm happy you said it, but I'm also happy that you shared a lot of the blood and guts that goes into making happen what you did. So I appreciate you sharing that. Anyway,
Hey, you know. But I've always been like that. That's just how it's been for me. Years ago, I had a wedding to do, right? And I was renting sound from somebody. So all I had to do was bring the turntables and the crates of records, and I was waiting for the guy to show up, and the dude never showed up, right?
oh my
And
goodness.
I needed that to happen. Not at the time, but
Okay.
I needed that to happen in my life because that jump started me to being the person that said, you know what? I get my own stuff. You know what? I'm not waiting for somebody to hire me. I'll do it myself. I think a lot of that comes too with, when we give a certain promoter a price for or a fee to play. A lot of promoters might feel like sometimes the fee is too high, but this is my living. This is my way of living. You know what I mean? This is how I eat. So, and I'm skilled in what I do. I used to think that talking like that used to be a bit cocky, and sometimes you don't have to be as humble as you need to be. If I go for a job, I'm always going to try to prove that I'm the qualified guy for the job, right? So if I'm that qualified, I should speak of my qualification. And so that's how I feel about what I do. I'm qualified to do what I do, and I'm going to always put my money where my mouth is, which is why I bought the sound system, which is why I started my own parties, which is why, if I walk away from a party, it's nothing, because I'll start another one up, I'm just going to take that type of attitude, but that all started from that one person not bringing the equipment, and I had to depend on him, and I never wanted to depend on anybody else again.
Powerful, 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 powerful. What's coming? I know you have something coming up Friday. Tell us about that. Tell us what's going on in the world of Jihad in terms of things that you can share in terms of events, projects,
Friday is
appearances. Okay.
Louis Vega, Anane Vega, and myself at the Heart Ballroom in Newark on Bloomfield Avenue. And yeah, that's Friday, April 12th. And then April 19th is the party that I have with Miss Becky Nunez out of New York. And that's with Mickey Affleck and myself and Polyrhythm, a production crew out of New Jersey, actually, Union City. And they've been doing a lot of great stuff. So I'm looking forward to playing with them. And then the Househead London party in the UK. Yeah, so that's at the end of April, or April 27th. And we are, I know I got something May 10th with Ab Simmons, and then I got to look at my calendar real fast.
See, a lot of people don't have to look at their calendar, but go ahead now.
And then, oh yeah, and then I'm actually doing sound for the Scotch Plains Music Festival
Mm-hmm.
that they started, I guess, a couple of years ago. So that's a sound job. But
Mm-hmm.
on the production tip, we have, of course, Miss Fly's song out, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have another one with Coffee coming out, and then I
Mm-hmm.
have another one with young lady from Boston, Susan Estera, and she's featuring Miranda Nicole on the vocals for this track.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll be out, within the next month or two.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got to gear up for the outdoor events. The Bang the Drum is
Mm-hmm.
uh, I believe we start the first Bang the Drum July. Oh man, let me see. July 20th.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next one is on August 3rd. But before that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I guess I could say this because the guy did announce it when I was in Chicago. But I'll be playing at the Chosen Few picnic.
All right now. See that?
Yeah,
Let me bow
I'm
down
looking
again.
forward
Hold
to
on a
that.
second.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
That's all
that.
right. Now,
Yeah.
question.
So we got a few things
Now,
going.
the event on Friday, who's giving that event?
That is John Murray from
John.
Coffee Cave.
Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the one he did Osunlade and Beloved.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next night after that, he's
Mm-hmm.
doing Dion Cole and Naeem Johnson and Tamir Clark.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's the very next day on the 13th.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Wow. Well, you got a lot of stuff going on here. Okay. Okay, we close it out. I did this with Mark Francis. I'm gonna do this with you here because
Hmm.
you got 3 house music wishes. All right, but you can keep one, but you gotta give us at least 2. What are your 3 house music wishes? Give us at least 2.
3 house music wishes.
You got the genies here. The house music genie is here.
The house music genie. So I'd have to rub the lamp and then make
Yeah.
a wish, right? Okay. Uh, one of them would be to do a festival at the Prudential Center,
Okay.
similar to what Black Coffee did at Madison Square Garden.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The second house music wish.
Mm-hmm.
I got to think hard on this one.
Mm-hmm. But you got 3, so you can you still got some play on this.
Okay.
You only have to
all
give
right.
us 2, all right? Unless you want to give us
Give
the
me 2?
third one.
Okay. Well, I guess you know what? The second one would probably be to establish my own spot.
Okay. Ooh.
Um, yeah, it would be to establish my own spot. And I'll say that only because I put a lot of, when I go to places and I do residencies or I deal with people doing business, I kind of put my heart and soul into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what I can bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
And, when you're working with someone else
Mm-hmm.
and their vision is different, sometimes all the effort that you put in kind of like, if you don't see eye to eye, it's not going to work out.
Gotcha.
So I know that if I had my own place,
Mm-hmm.
the effort that I would put into it
Mm-hmm.
would be that it would be like the spot to go to
Mm-hmm.
over here,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm tired of making other people's spots this spot.
Okay.
We need to make my spot this spot.
Okay.
So that
All
would be
right.
the second wish.
Okay. All right. Okay. The third one you can hold on to or you can share. It's your call.
Yeah, I think I'll hold on to it for now.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, listen, since you brought up club, I got to ask you, this popped in my head. The cricket club, that was a major spot. Any cricket club reunion, anything like that ever happening? In your
Never
near
again.
future?
Never again.
Okay. All right. That was a time that passed. All right. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Any final thoughts before we close it out?
Any final thoughts? Well,
Uh-huh.
I would just say, just to double back on what you asked me earlier about people coming into the game and, what would I tell them? I would just, once again say, look, just commit yourself to this and have people in your life that will help you out because it's going to get rough at times. For you, if you're married, it's going to get rough for your partner because she's going to think you're out too much and, he's going to start getting pissed off. And those are the things that you have to deal with. The climb to the top is never easy, and I don't even think I'm at the top. I just
Yeah.
think I am where I am. But that journey, that climb was rough, but I wouldn't trade it in for the world because there are a lot of learning experiences that I've gotten out of that. A lot of knowledge. Once I look back and I say, oh man, I did this, I did that. Yeah, I made a mistake here, but guess what? I followed up with this. It all panned out in the end. And I wouldn't trade it in for the world.
Okay. All right. Well, let me just do a couple here. Yeah. You know what? Honest to goodness, I should stop playing and wear glasses.
Yeah,
I
see,
mean, no, it's not that I can't see it. It's just I can't make it out unless I recognize the name.
right. Hey, you see, I got mine on, bro.
I see. That's it. I'm gonna stop playing anyway. But anyway, shout out to the people I didn't get a chance to shout out to because I couldn't, and not because I couldn't see your name, but I couldn't read it. All right. Anyway, so if people want to follow you, keep up with you, support you, how do they do it?
They can do it by Facebook, Jihad Muhammad, or my second page, Jihad A. Muhammad, or my Instagram, which is jmoo68. And also I do a live Twitch show every Saturday from 12 until 3, and that's what is it? Twitch.tv/JihadMu, JIHADMU. Every Saturday. So you can reach out to me on my social media platforms, and I usually get back to you within a couple of hours to a day.
All right. Well, Jihad, thank you so much for coming. I know, folks, listen, we started this conversation. Let me just show you how busy he is and how much, if he will share time with you, how valuable it is. We started this conversation back in November. And here what's this, April? So let me tell you what. Well, do I want to wait again? No. But was it worth it? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I got to get you to commit, and I want to get you to commit publicly, let's say a year from now, or any time you want, you can come. There's no issue on that. But I'm just saying, I know you'll have updates. I know things will have happened. And again, just joy and a pleasure. So, again.
Thank you, Dan. It's always good to be on the 8th floor with Dan, to ride the elevator up to the 8th floor. It's a journey, man. Thank you, bro.
Wait a minute. I was telling Beloved, I said, I was trying to get up to the 10th floor where you guys are, but I put my key in the elevator, but it stopped on the 8th floor and it wouldn't go up there.
Yeah, some people can't get up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But we got you, man. Next time you want to come up, we'll let you up.
Okay, all right. I'll give it a
Make sure we have a shrimp cocktail for you and all that stuff.
Shrimp. Oh yeah, I'm definitely a shrimp man.
Yeah.
All right, word gets out, huh? Anyway, yeah. Well, listen, folks. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time for coming out, but very, very important. Thank Jihad for coming and sharing with us. We really appreciate it. Okay. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna finish what is left of the Shazam Free Zone. We got a couple tracks we're gonna play. We're gonna lead off with a track that you should know about by Jihad, Miss Fly, and Dance All Night. So, Chalk, you want to start that up? Ladies and gentlemen, I am DJ Dan, Soulful House Station. I'm coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget this Friday, we got another special show. We've been doing this segment called Heroes of House. And what we've been doing is we've been just kind of recognizing people that have played in house music. But here's what's interesting. For most part, we only hear, I'm going to call them the top 40 in house when we go out to most events, but we don't realize how much music these people, these artists and producers have. This past Friday, we just did a whole show with Cynthia Tucker, Anaya Weathers, Miss Yaz Roar, Crystal Lavelle, Anaya Weathers, I think I said it, and Vanessa L. Smith. This week, we got Cream coming up this Friday from 4 to 6. And then we're going to bring Jihad on. I spoke to Louis Vega last night. He said I could use his music. So anyway, we got a lot of good stuff coming. We're going to do that Heroes of House thing for a hot minute, and then we're going to do something else. We're always coming up with something new. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again. DJ Dan, Soulful House Nation, coming to you live from the 8th floor. I am the unusual suspect. Get ready, get ready, get ready. Right.